Welcome to segment 2 of the Tom Greene and Cole Martens NFL show, week 6. And as you see, I think we have disagreed our picks more in the last segment than we did the last 2 weeks.
That was my plan, actually. I need to go opposite. I need upsets, that's all I know. I'm sick of this same old. We need to do something different.
And I was thinking that Cole was going to pick the same as me, so Cole actually...
Oh no, I was before, but I'm like, screw it, let's make some changes.
So actually Cole was thinking of screwing it up, and I thought I was. But anyway, here we go. The most interesting team in the NFL in an AFC North Division rivalry. Cleveland against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, one of those up and down teams so far this year, and last week Pittsburgh did get another win. As they moved to 3-2 as they beat a very weak Jacksonville Jaguar team. So Pittsburgh back now on their up stage. Now the question is whether they go back in their down stages. This week they play the Cleveland Browns, who have also looked pretty good as a team that seemed to look like last week they're going to get beat up by the Tennessee Titans. Came back and won it by 1 point. And Hoyer once again had another great game. And if you remember week 1 in this game between these two, the Pittsburgh had a big game lead in that one. The Cleveland Browns came back and almost beat them, tied the game up at least, but Pittsburgh won the game on a late field goal. This time the Cleveland Browns are going to get it done, and I believe the Cleveland Browns will do it. They're at home in this one. They're in the dog pound. I have a lot of faith in them. I believe Hoyer's going to have another good game. And I'm going to take the Browns over the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North battle, 17-14.
As I said before we started, Cole had seen me flip a coin twice. This was one of the 2 times I flipped the coin. The coin came up Pittsburgh. I'm going to stick with it. I think that Cleveland is a little bit too hyped up right now after that win. Although I think that they will definitely finish better than 3-13, like I thought to start the year. I think the Browns need to are going to have a reality check this week. It will be a close game. I picked it 31-27. But I think the Browns will go through a reality check this week before they win again. Pittsburgh 31, Cleveland 27. Miami against Green Bay.
Green Bay coming into this one with once again with a very impressive win, as that team just seems like they are rolling along now after having a pretty bad start. And Aaron Rodgers right now looking very great. Jordy Nelson as well, looking also really good at the receiver position, also with Cobb. So that team looked like they got things going. And Eddie Lacy last week as well, I should mention, looked very, very good as he was just running people over, it seemed like the entire game.
Eddie Lacy finally making fantasy owners happy.
Yeah, me especially.
I actually wanted to draft Eddie Lacy first, and then you took him long before I was able to pick somebody.
He had my first pick, actually, I think.
You had first pick, I had 11th.
But, Green Bay looking very good. Defense as well looking pretty good. And then you go to Miami, who just seems like they trying to figure some stuff out right now. They had a bye week last week, so they're a little more rested in this one. Even though they are rested, I do not see them taking on this Green Bay Packers team. That Green Bay offense is just way too powerful, I believe. And they're going to, I believe, beat up on this Miami defense. And still some key players missing in this Miami team. And I believe Green Bay is going to win this one 31-10.
I think Cole is forgetting that the last time the Dolphins played, it was in London.
Yep.
They played the Raiders.
Yep.
They destroyed the Raiders.
That's because it's the Raiders.
True, but still. They did their business when they should have. This game is at Dolphin Stadium, although it's not called that anymore. I'm going to call it Dolphin Stadium because I can. Who got beat at Dolphin Stadium week 1?
New England.
The Dolphins are a tough team to play at their home stadium. And people don't realize that. Remember when I called the Miami upset last year and I almost did it this year? I think it's going to happen again. Miami 28, Green Bay 24. I might have some real far-fetched picks this week, but something's telling me that this is going to be a week where the unexpected happens.
In Miami fans, Aaron Rodgers, 350 yards. Jordy Nelson, 125 yards. Cobb, 75 yards. 3 touchdowns to receivers. There you go.
I really think because this game is in Miami, if it were to be in Green Bay, I would think Green Bay would demolish the Dolphins. But since it's at Dolphin Stadium, I'm going to do it this time. Minnesota against Detroit.
Detroit last week looking very, 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 very off track as the offense just did not have anything going for them.
Let's just face it, Stafford had an off day.
Or they didn't have Calvin Johnson that one too, because without Calvin Johnson, this offense looks like crap. And I said it once, and I'll probably say it again now, because I've seen it last week, and since Stafford missed every single one of his passes, it seemed like, I still don't like Stafford in Detroit. I don't. If he needs to keep his job in Detroit, of course they have to make the playoffs this year, and I believe he needs to throw a little bit of better accuracy at times in pressure situations, which at times he can, but sometimes he can't, which scares me. So let's see how Stafford does the rest of the season, though. But right now, without Calvin Johnson, possibly not going to have Calvin Johnson again this week, it leaves question marks in my mind if Detroit can do this. If they're playing a Minnesota team who is also pretty beat up without Adrian Peterson, it's a huge loss for that team. And Asiata, I got the name down finally.
There you go.
All right. He has been looking pretty good in the backfield for this team, and I don't know who's going to be in quarterback this week. I believe it is Bridgewater again. He's coming back, so that should make things interesting. On this one, though, now I'm actually trying to think about this. Do I want to go against Detroit? Nah, I'll keep my pick. I don't want to do that. Let's say if Detroit in this one. I just believe Detroit with Golden Tate. I believe it's enough to beat this Minnesota defense. I do believe it's going to be a low-scoring game in this one. Detroit's going to beat Minnesota 14-10.
Of course, with the resurgence of Teddy Bridgewater, the Minnesota fans are going like, as I just did, Teddy! To their little teddy bears at home. Teddy! But you have a thing called Detroit's defense that you have to face. Even though Detroit lost last week and they should have won, to all those same old Lions people out there, if this team were to be the same old Lions, they'd be 1-4 right now. They would have lost the game to Green. They would have blown the Green Bay game, and they would have blown the Jets game. They didn't do that. Plus, they're facing a weak Minnesota team, and I'm telling you right now, I feel better about this team than I've ever done with Jim Schwartz as their head coach. Detroit 27, Minnesota 17.
Now, quick question. What happens if Detroit loses this week? Then we got the same old Lions.
Valid point, but we'll let the play on the field.
I say I don't feel confident for Calvin Johnson. That's all I know. That's all I gotta say. I'm scared a little bit.
The Jets. It's the Eric Decker reunion this time. The Jets against Denver.
Yeah, Denver once again having a very, very good game last week. It's Peyton Manning. Let me say this first. Congratulations on hitting 500 touchdowns in a career. And in the next 2 weeks, we know you're going to probably break Brett Favre's touchdown career passing record. So we'll be talking about that here in a couple weeks. But for now, we're going to talk about the Denver Broncos team. This team looking very good. Passing, like always, just looking amazing with Peyton Manning under the helm. Only issue with Denver right now is they did lose a key running back as Ball was hurt last week, and I believe they said he's going to be out for a while here. But still has some good backups behind him with Anderson, who has been doing pretty good behind Ball. So Denver, even without Ball, I believe they're still going to look pretty good. And the Jets, well, they still got some question marks to fill in there as the Jets with Geno Smith, who once again is starting this week, which I don't get why after last week putting Michael Vick in. You think they would just keep Michael Vick in, but They're going to keep Geno Smith in there, and like you just mentioned, Eric Decker going against his old team for the first time since he left Denver, so that makes it a little more interesting. But I'm going to give this one to Denver. I just believe Denver is the better team in this one. That offense is going to, I just believe, destroy this Jets defense in a very weak secondary the Jets have. And I'm gonna take the Denver Broncos in this one, 35-10.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say that the only good player on this Jets team is Eric Decker. It's tough to say where else they're good. Defense is better than they used to be, but
I don't know, better. I don't know. Let's say that their running defense is pretty good. The secondary is horrible compared to past years,
which has pretty much been Detroit's problem in the Jim Schwartz era was the secondary, and even so, kind of now. But either way, whether or not you think the Jets are better on defense than they were, Denver's gonna destroy them. There's no better way to say it. Denver 35, the Jets 17, and Jets fans once again will be like, JETS, just end this season. Segment 3 coming up next.